This weekend, under the bright lights of Canastota, New York, history was made. The class of 2025 stepped into a different kind of ring. Not to fight, but to be celebrated. Manny Pacquiao, a global icon who fist told stories his voice never needed to. Vinny Paz, the comeback king. Nunn, the technician, smooth, sharp, and unforgettable. Legacies weren't just forged in the ring. They were protected, narrated, and uplifted by voices like Randy Gordon, hands like Kenny Bayless, and a strength like Cathy Davis. We honor queens of the canvas, Mary Jo Sanders, Yessica Chavez, Sophie Mathis, women who didn't just join the fight, they changed it. Then come the minds that made boxing move. Jackie Kellen, the first lady of boxing. Mauricio Suleiman, a symbol of legacy and structure. And Joe Cortez, firm, fair, and forever respected. This class reminded us that titles fade, trophies rust, but impact that echoes forever. From heavy hitters to heavy thinkers, the hall don't just welcome champions, it welcomes legends.
Today, we pay tribute to the legends whose fists spoke volumes, whose courage inspired millions, and whose legacies will echo through time. Thank you for joining us in this celebration of greatness. Let's honor the past, embrace the present, and inspire the future together. Beloved heavyweight, the gentleman, Jerry Cooney. Hall of Fame promotional executive, Mr. Brad Jacobs. The former president of the World Boxing Organization, Francisco Paco Barcarcel. Influential regular and executive, Mr. Mark Redner. Hall of Fame manager, groundbreaker, we love her, Jackie Kellen. Champion, Alberto Chiquita President of the World Boxing Council, Mr. Mauricio Suleiman. Three-time world champion, Tito Felix Trinidad. The man behind that, his trainer, his father, Felix Trinidad Sr., the Ghost, Kelly Cathy. Gold medalist, the Jinx Sphinx, Michael Sphinx. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most beloved fighters, four-division world champion, absolutely electrifying, Roy Jones Jr. Not only is he firm, but he's a Hall of Fame referee, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Cortez. Showtime, Sean Porter. Incredible executive producer, the former president of HBO Sports, Mr. Ross Greenburg. Also a 2025 International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee. You know him as the Commissioner, Randy Gordon. This next inductee of 2025 is an absolute pioneer, and she starts good trouble wherever she goes. Cathy Davis. Four-division world champion, Mary Jo. Two-division world champion, Yessica Chavez. Inductee, former middleweight, former super middleweight, champion of the world, Michael. Second to Nunn. 2025 International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, 5-time world champion, Vinny Paz, the Tasmanian Devil. Vinny Paz! 8th Division World Champion, global superstar, Manny
What I say, you must obey.
That's right.
All the fights, I've completed over 800 fights. And what I'm getting ready to share with you, I have never experienced before. Never. And at the end of the first round, Ricky hadn't got knocked down twice. And the crowd was just going berserk. It was so loud in there for me, it was deafening. And I walked over to my neutral corner, and as I stood there, I could feel my heart racing. And I mean, it was racing, and this has never happened to me before. So I'm looking down, saying to myself, what is going on here? And it's still racing, and I know the clock is, the 1 minute clock is winding down. And just prior to the bell ringing, I'm looking at my heart and I'm saying, heart? That bell is getting ready to ring. What you gonna do? And when the bell rung, it was like, let me start my journey. When I moved to Las Vegas, me and I'm gonna mention my twin brother, and I don't know if you've seen it, but yes, I do have a twin brother. And if you see me with the name tag, then you know you got the right one. And I say that because he's been signing a lot of autographs. Taking a lot of pictures as well. He has. He's gotten out of control. But anyway, I moved to Las Vegas in August of 1972, and in February of 73, I attended my first boxing match, which happened to be Muhammad Ali fighting a guy by the name of Joe Butler. And to be in an arena and hearing hundreds of thousands of people singing, Ali, Ali, made the hair on the back of my head stand straight up. And at that point, I fell in love with the sport of boxing. After that fight, it was a time for me because every boxing match that took place in Las Vegas at that time, I was there. Now, could I afford to go to all those boxing matches? No. So I was finding unique ways of sneaking through back doors, putting on sweatsuits or whatever, so that I could get in to enjoy the sport that I was starting to grow into. And then at one point I said to myself, what can I do in this sport that I know nothing about? And I looked at the sport and I said to myself, well, judging does not seem to be difficult. You just sit there, watch a 3-minute round and give your rating as to who you thought won it. So I got into the amateur golden gloves, started practicing scoring, judging. And I would still go to the professional show. So when I took my scorecard, or at a professional fight, when I would score those fights, I would compare it with some of the judges there. And one of the judges I compared it with is a guy by the name of Jerry Ross. And And Jerry Ross looked at my scores and looked at his scores and said, well, I don't know how good you're going to do as a judge, but why don't you try refereeing? And as soon as he said that, the first thing that went through my mind was refereeing. I don't want to get in there with those guys. And I thought about it, and I said, well, why not give it a chance? Well, I got the rookies. So I asked a guy by the name, I'm sure you've heard of, named Richard Steele. And I asked Richard, will you show me how the art of refereeing? And Richard took me to the gym and started training me, and everything was just great. I couldn't have asked a better person to ask me about the skills and what it takes to be a referee. So now I'm at the amateur show, and now I'm refereeing and I'm judging. And everything was going great. It couldn't have gotten better. Matter of fact, it did get better because a good friendly man, and I thank him, his name was Johnny Lehman. And Johnny Lehman pushed my name to the executive director, becoming an inspector. So now it's really getting good for me because now as an inspector, I'm in the dressing rooms with Larry Holmes and Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, just getting a whole flow and feel of how the athletes prepare and what they do prior to the contest that they're being involved in. So I'm just thinking to myself, you can't get no better than this. You can't. So during the amateurs, my stock just continued to rise as far as refereeing. I started out as a novice referee, and I worked my way all the way up to the open division. I was getting plaques and medals and all kinds of different things to represent the work that I was doing. Now, the only thing that I was waiting to do was to be what? Become a professional. Because in those dressing rooms, I had the opportunity to watch the Mills Lanes. I was in our dressing room, watched Davey Pearl, and all the and I took a little something from each one of them to mold Kenny Bayless. Now, when the time came for the athletic commission to appoint a referee, which I thought was supposed to be me, that did not happen. They gave that to someone else. And the top of my head blew off. It blew off because of how angry I was, because I was supposed to be the next guy. So, what did I do? I decided to write a letter to the commission and say to the commission, hey, look, commission, all these years I put into judging the amateurs and you overlook me like this? And I had a few other words in there that I'm sure that they would have liked if they had gotten that letter. They got the letter, but my wife is sitting right down here in front row, took that letter, and she said, if you send that letter in, you will never become a referee. So she took the letter and she cleaned it up. You sent it in, and I became a referee. One of the things that things would get better, which I thought things would, but things didn't. Because now, I'm the little guy on the totem pole, and the years that I was an inspector and meeting all these fighters, I'm juiced up because I want to be a part of refereeing Mike Tyson and Dennis Lewis and Red Bow and all these guys. But because I was a little guy on the totem pole, it wasn't happening. And guess what? I started getting a little frustrated. And I was getting more frustrated about it because I was energized. I wanted to be a part of all that, but it did not happen. And I turned into an angry bird is what I turned into. And nothing was right when I got an assignment to do a boxing card. And I was getting to the point where I was thinking and debating about wanting to go back and being an inspector. I liked being an inspector. I did. But so because things weren't going the way I wanted it to, I would talk to certain people, trying to get their opinion, trying to get them to talk to me about, because the only thing I talked about was going back. They said, no, Kenny, you My mom always told me, she used to say, I hate quitters. I hate quitters. And that's what was on my mind. So anyway, I talked with a judge by the name of Patricia Jarman. I thank her because she said this to me, Kenny, we don't make fight assignments. The only thing we have to do is put it in the hands of the Lord. I have not heard that before. Put it in the hands of the Lord. And as soon as I gave it to him, I had peace in my heart. I did. So, the only thing left for me to do is be like my grandmother used to tell me, Kenny, just be patient. Your time will come. But at that point, I didn't get patient. But I was working and I was doing a fight at the Orleans. A fighter got hit, second round, went down, did not get up. Called the doctors in, they took him to the hospital. He was suffering from a cerebral hematoma, which is bleeding of the brain, and he died. And that broke me to the point to where I didn't know if I wanted to referee anymore. And I thank Mark Bradford for putting me back in the ring to see how I was going to be affected by that. And I got back in the ring and I aced it. Give it up. Jumped a couple of big hurdles here. I think I should be on my way now. Now, all referees and judges, for referees, we have to get a physical, and we have to get an eye exam. And when I got my physical, and the results of my physical, I was diagnosed with cancer. Yeah. And when I got that news, that was like a knockout blow. Cancer? As healthy as I am? Cancer? Well, I started looking up to the good man upstairs and praying real hard because I knew I had my wife on my side as a wellness coach and health educator. And 8-9 months later, I ended up having to have surgery, and my surgery was a success. There was nothing left behind, and there was no complaints about that. I had that cancer surgery in 2004, May of 2004. In September of 2004, I get a call from the commission office because I'm going to be refereeing Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya. Guess what I did? I aced it. The next fight I did, which was 2.5 months after that, was Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales. And guess what? My stock just started climbing, and for me, the crowning moment for me was when the fight of the century between Floyd Mayweather and when I did that fight, I was in heaven.
Yeah, give it up.
But this, I want to thank all the inductees. Congratulate them. I would past and present, and I'm just thankful to the Lord for Him watching over me.
Yeah, right.
It's an angel watching over me. I want to also thank my sons that are here and my family.